Let's go make a killing.
All right.
Welcome to the Las Vegas Football Contest Show.
10 to the 5 to the 4, play one, touchdown.
The sharpest football contest show in the land.
I'll take the action. My Birds, Benjamin Franklin's team, favored by 1.5 points. I'll give you 3 more.
You're now riding shotgun with 2 former contest winners in Brady Kannon and James Salinas. And getting a former player's perspective with 9-year NFL veteran Mike Pritchard.
Let's go!
As they guide you through strategy, process, and your contest picks each and every week of the season.
I do like the idea of a parlay.
Now here's your host, Brady Kannon.
Welcome in, everybody. It is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show presented by Circus Sports and Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. I am Brady Kannon, along with James Salinas and Mike Pritchard. NFL contest season has come to a conclusion out here in Las Vegas. Congratulations to all the contest winners: Circus Sports Million, Westgate Super Contest, Circus Survivor, you name it, Grandissimo. Up and down the board, contest season was thrilling. As usual, this is our 21st and final episode of season 2, and we will, of course, get into the 6 games that make up Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. But first, we begin with a bit of a wrap-up on the season and taking a look at Circus Sports Million. The winner of the Blue Blazer is Coin Hop with a record of 60, 29, and 1. Kind of an unusually low percentage for a contest winner this year at 67%. Not too shabby, but usually it takes 70% to win these things these days. CoinHop won over Bison Sports Cards with a tiebreaker. He had 15 winning weeks in all, and that was the tiebreaker, getting it done, and the Blue Blazer for CoinHop. Congratulations there. $1 million richer for CoinHop. In the Westgate Super Contest, Biff's Almanac, he wins the ring, had a 5-game lead going into the final week. He hits 61, 28, and 1, 68% for your winner in the Westgate Super Contest. Also, Integrity Alert had 3 entries that finished tied for 5th in the Super Contest. And oh, by the way, Integrity Alert also won the Super Contest Gold for better than $330,000. So a nice contest season for Integrity Alert over at the Westgate Superbook for sure. Circus Survivor, crazy as always. A winner between 5 entries. They split on the final Sunday of Week 18. Dylan W., a winner with the Falcons. Gary A. with the Patriots. Juicy Coochie and Kick Your Knees Up, both on the Vikings. And then Real Bro with a rocking chair winner with the Jaguars. They each collect $3.74 million. And boy, what a story about Parts 1. A hard luck loser with the Cincinnati Bengals. They had the Atlanta Falcons available to use. They had the Panthers. They had Tampa Bay, and they had the Bengals. As far as some of the favorites in Week 18, they went with the Bengals. Of course, they lose to the Cleveland Browns. And here's the tough part. It's the 2nd season in a row that this particular entry has lost in the final week of the season. 2 straight years of 19-1. Now, I do understand that he was pretty well hedged and walked away with a nice chunk of change. So not too hard of feelings there for Parts 1, but boy, that is tough on the ticker, gentlemen. Mike, I'll start with you. Gosh, another great season. I mean, good news for us. We were 46 and 42 and 2 in the Circus Sports Million, top 20% of the field. 48 and 42 in the Super Contest, 53%. That's not bad at the window, top 18% of the field, but it's not going to win you any contests. And like our friend James Salinas likes to say, we do earn a participation trophy. We did better than last year, guys. We improved. So James, do a shot of bourbon for all of us over the weekend. Mike, give me your thoughts on it. He's going to do it during the show, guys, maybe. Mike, your thoughts on another fun and, call it relatively successful, no cash. James cashed a little bit in a DraftKings contest. Congratulations to him. But, on all honesty, I really did think we got better this year.
Yeah, I mean, along the way, I mean, some of the plays, is certainly you had a chance to play those and win some money, depending on your unit size and what you're betting. I thought it was a solid year. You mentioned on the onset, in terms of the record and the percentage, the more people that participate in these contests, and I mean, goodness, it's probably going to grow again next year. I think, it's going to be more diluted, because one of the things I discovered was the chances you have to take, right? Some of the out of the box thinking you have to do, and maybe that's going to lower your percentage a little bit. But still, having a chance to be competitive, having a chance to win some money along the way. I mean, it was an enjoyable experience again, and certainly learning a lot from you and James in terms of handicapping and how people are going about these games all season long. It is a grind. It really is. And then Survivor, yes, you're going to hedge, right? And yes, you're going to monetize along the way. But one of the things we discussed last week was, Tampa, if you had two teams and you go oppo in that final game with two teams that you have available, there was a chance that Parts One could have middled that game if he took the +3 or +2.5, whatever the number would have been at the time. I thought it closed at +3, but then you select Tampa too. So there's always intrigue with these contests, and get more and more popular each and every year. So a great experience again, and certainly next year is going to be even more enjoyable, I believe, as well.
Yeah, Phyllis, I think what's interesting, Brady mentioned the winning percentage for this year, 67% in Circa, 68% in the Super Contest, and the numbers have grown. So I know in 2015 when I played and I won it, I hit about 72 the ballpark, 72%, maybe a little higher. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that's what needed to hit to win that. And there was approximately 2,000 entries in the Super Contest. Then Circa wasn't around at that point, so that was the only that was the granddaddy. That was the main gig for handicapping contests. And so even though what do we have, about 5,500, just say in Circa, the fact that out of 5,500, these percentages are below 70%, I think there's something to say that to still be encouraged and to not feel like, man, these fields are just getting so big, because they are. They're enormous. I think it's been a great marketing tool to be able to continue to push this out. People are really jumping in and getting excited about these contests and the big paydays that are out there, Circa in particular, where it's $1 million check that you win. Those are great to have and to hold up. But I think the fact that these percentages are still at that level where you're talking, let's just call it 70%, it's attainable. It's very challenging. It's very difficult to do that. But I think that's my takeaway. Is it's really interesting, Brady, especially the fact that these numbers to win these contests still haven't increased. You think 5,000 people plus, yeah, hit like 80%. Maybe for those quarterlies you do, but not for the entirety of the season.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you're exactly right. For the quarterlies, you got to get red hot and hit like 80% or something. But hey, 67% has never been a bad percentage. You remember back in the day, James, in the Super Contest, when you used to get an extra $10,000 if you hit 67%. And by the way, I can tell you what your percentage was in 2015, because it was exactly the same as ours. 72.5%. We had the highest winning percentage in the history of the contest, you and I both. And then that guy came around a few years later and hit like 76%, which is still holding true to this day as the highest winning percentage. Congratulations again to you for cashing a little bit on the DraftKings contest. So again, a relatively successful season here on the show. We better than 2.5 times our lasting life in Circa Survivor, where we got through to week 5, losing, of course, with the Cardinals and their loss to the Titans, and the Buffalo Bills at home losing to the Patriots. We come back, we get into the games. It's Wild Card Weekend right here on the Las Vegas Football Contest Show.
When the football contest crew isn't busy dominating the field and making plays that leave opponents in the dust, they're doing something just as exciting. They're playing My Vegas Slots. It's a top-ranked, free-to-play mobile app that lets you earn valuable real-world rewards from amazing partners like MGM Grand, Bellagio, and Norwegian Cruise Line. You can score hotel stays, great meals, show tickets, and more just for playing. Download My Vegas Slots today from your favorite app store. And if you're anything like Brady, James, and Mike, we know you're going to love it. That's a winning play you won't want to miss.
Want to gamble like the pros? At LasVegasAdvisor.com, you'll find the world's best how-to books, software, and strategy cards featuring blackjack, poker, video poker, and of course, sports betting, including the Stanford Wong Classic Sharp Sports Betting. Don't forget LVA's Member Rewards coupon book, offering discounts on dining and entertainment, including a buy one, get one for the awesome lobster buffet at the Palms, and more than $700 in gambling-free play, match play, and bonus offers. Up your gambling game today at LasVegasAdvisor.com.
Welcome back to the Las Vegas Football Contest Show presented by Circus Sports and Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. Brady Kannon, Mike Pritchard, and James Salinas with you. And congratulations again to all the football contest winners in 2025. It is time now to break down the first round of the playoffs in the NFL. We've got 6 games on tap. What a football weekend it is. College football, the national championship, good stuff going on. For sure. It ended with a dandy between the Steelers and the Ravens last Sunday night. Boy, what a wild one to wrap up the AFC North. We turn to a rematch here. The Rams Saturday game. The early game on Saturday will be the Los Angeles Rams visiting the division winner, the Carolina Panthers, who get in by default. A weird way to win that one as well. They lose to Tampa Bay, but the Atlanta Falcons beating the Saints gives the Panthers the division. And gentlemen, they are 10.5-point dogs. I believe it was about the same spread when they upset the Rams earlier this year in this season. But Mike, I'll start with you. When I crunch the numbers, there is such a discrepancy between these two teams. My numbers actually come out to the Rams by 15.5 points. And I would lay it if you made me bet this game, but I feel that is such a popular side, and the Rams are going to be in every single person's money line parlay, that they put together for this weekend. And that type of thing scares me. But I'm not sure I could get to the window with the dog, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Brady, you got to look at the weather too. I mean, I think it's going to be raining, a little bit of wind out there. And so Carolina, this is funny because here we go with this division, right? They limp into the playoffs. After being shot 3 or 4 times. And, but then now they're going up against the Super Bowl favorite from the jump. And I think that's baked into the number here because he got experience. He got a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Stafford. Devontae Adams is coming back. Rams seem like they're healthy, very healthy. And then you have the upstart Panthers. And so what is there to like about the Panthers other than the fact that Bryce Young is 5-2 at home this year, I believe. When you look at his situation as a starting quarterback against Dallas, against the Rams, against some pretty good offenses, right? And he was in some shootouts, and I don't know if that is an enigma or if that's something that you can bank on there with Bryce. I think it's par for the course of what they were along the way. I think their defense is underestimated too a little bit, but they did get better across the way this season, James. Now, if I'm betting this game, I can only look at the dog because I do think the Rams will win the game. But having played in this situation as a team like in Seattle, we won the division, we kind of backed in and we hosted that game. And then with the Falcons, we were on the road as a wild card. When you're on the road as a wild card, there's no pressure on you at all. But when you're at home and you're hosting that playoff game, man, there's so much pressure on you because you got to get that W at home if you can. So I think the pressure will be on Carolina, but yet it's an upstart team. I can back them from a backdoor situation, perhaps getting inside that number. I don't know if the Rams can cover that number in a game that is another rematch. Their situation, a lot of familiarity between these two teams as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to lay a number with the Rams. It's too big of a number to lay in the playoffs on the road. Thinking about how this matchup played out back in, I believe it was week 13, when the Carolina Panthers, you mentioned it, Brady, upset the Rams. Well, the recipe when the Panthers have had these wins and these upset wins has been rushing the football versus throwing the football. And case in point for that game against the Rams, they had 40 rushes in that game versus just 20 passes for Bryce Young to throw the football. That was the recipe to win the football game. But since then, we didn't see it last week. As I was kind of on the fence with, we like the Panthers take the number, but I really didn't trust what their mindset was going to be, and more so with Canales and what game plan was he going to call They ran for 20 yards last week, or 19 yards, I think it was, total in that game against Tampa. I just don't know what the recipe is going to be here for the Panthers. They probably fall behind. If they do fall behind, there goes the running game out the window, Brady. And I think for this matchup here, it really has to be a game of keep away. I mean, for the Panthers to stay within that number, they've got to commit to rushing the football, even going for it on fourth down. They've got to keep that passing attack with Stafford. Devontae Adams will be back in this matchup for this game for the Rams as well. They got to keep that offense on the sideline. You do that with the running game. Keep pounding. I know that's the mantra and the rallying cry for the Panthers. I just don't trust them to do that for 4 quarters.
Well, let's look at the other game on Saturday, the late one, and this will be the third time these teams have met in about the last 6 weeks, the age-old rivalry of the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. This one will be at Soldier Field. The 2 seed, the Chicago Bears, despite losing last week, thanks to Philadelphia, they maintain that position in the 2 hole, facing the 7 seed. The Packers, I believe, have been the 7 seed for a few years in a row now, kind of underachieving, really, this organization, and they come in limping in. You talk about the Panthers, Mike. The Packers come in limping in, having lost 4 in a row. The Bears have lost a couple in a row. And it's no surprise the numbers say Packers. Metrically, they are absolutely the better squad here, but I'm not sure I like either of these teams, James. The Bears have the rushing attack. We've seen the Packers be very susceptible on defense to giving up the run lately. I feel either way here, and I did this. Right now, the favorite is flipped. The Bears were a 1-point favorite. Now the Green Bay Packers are. I think whoever's a 1.5 point dog here, you tease it up to plus 7.5, and that's a pretty good position.
Well, I think for me, I can't find a side that I like on here either. It's toggling back and forth. That's where I've been as far as the side goes. I like the under. I bet the under 45. The wind is gonna be Chicago. It's gonna be 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. It's the night game on Saturday night. It's gonna be cold, but I think that the wind, both these teams can rush the football, Pritch, right? We know that. They can rush the football. I think that's where both these coaches are going to dial back the passing game, not only for the weather, but also because they know each other very well inside and out. And now you're in the playoffs, so don't want to have these young quarterbacks have to make mistakes. That's where I went Pritch here. I like the under in this matchup.
Yeah, that's a nice play right there, I believe, as well, James. I mean, the pressure, like I mentioned, is going to be immense for Chicago, and I think they'll be ready for it. I think Ben Johnson has prepared this team. They've gotten better along the way too, whereas Green Bay, they kind of found solutions but then stumbled. Josh Jacobs being healthy is going to be big too. But so, it's a hard side to pick, but no, the under sounds like a sound play there.
Well, like I said, I teased the Packers up to plus 7.5, and I'll get to the other leg of the teaser here when we continue on the other side with maybe the game of the week, the Bills and the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Ought to be a dandy. We'll be back in just a moment.
Las Vegas isn't just a place to play, it's a great place to live. Louis Payon with Magenta Real Estate is a trusted 5-star real estate professional who's called Vegas home for over 3 decades. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, Louis will guide you every step of the way with proven strategies that deliver results. Call Louis today at 702-849-7160. That's 702-849-7160. Louis Payon is the official realtor of the Las Vegas Football Contest Show.
Welcome back into the Las Vegas Football Contest Show presented by Circus Sports and Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. We have made our way to Jacksonville, the first of the Sunday games, and this one really has my interest. I think it's going to be a great one to watch. We'll see if we can find any bets we like on this one. The Bills are a 1-point favorite. It is pick'em at a lot of stores, about 50-50 as far as the pick'ems and the Bills being a 1-point favorite out there in the market. The total, a consensus 51.5. Gentlemen, I played the under here. I played under 52 because I think the immediate perception is, Jaguars and Bills, there's going to be a ton of points. And I like to go oppo of what that immediate reaction is. I also think the running game is going to be a heavy dose of it here. Whether you're the Buffalo Bills and James Cook, or whether you're the Jacksonville Jaguars trying to penetrate that lousy run defense for Buffalo, I think there's going to be a lot of rushing the football in this game. And, we threw out a stat here when we were off air. Since 2004, let me grab it here for you, the under 49-23, 68% to the under since 2004 in wild card games played outdoors. All 6 of them
are outdoors this week. Mike, the Jaguars and the Bills. I like the Jaguars as the second part of my teaser leg, teasing them up to plus 7.5 with the Packers at plus 7.5. And I'm also on the under, my friend.
Yeah, how about this? I mean, I think I'm confident in saying that Jacksonville at home with Trevor Lawrence, who has arrived, I believe, living up to expectations. It sounds like a good side. It feels like a good side, too, in this one. They're playing with so much confidence, Brady and James. And one of the things about a team like this that's young, that's improving, that's really been well coached as well with Cohen, this team believes in itself and they're galvanized, too. Buffalo, on the other hand, they're the same old thing. Buffalo's been there, done that, right? And can we rely on Josh Allen being spectacular and going up against this Jaguars defense with a lot of confidence, too? It's a great matchup. It really is. I think the line is indicative of that. I think the edges there for me looking at this game is Trevor Lawrence. And the points are going to be interesting, Brady, because both of these two teams getting hot down the stretch, 20 touchdowns offensively in the last 5 games for Jacksonville and 19 touchdowns offensively for Buffalo as well down the stretch. So whose defense do you trust the most? All year long, I haven't trusted Buffalo's defense that much, whereas Jacksonville with Devin Lloyd and some other playmakers, they've been a side, especially at home, that I can back a little bit here. So I like Jacksonville in this one, James. What do you think?
I kind of lean that way too, but this is a tough game for me to call. I haven't betted. I don't really know where I'm going to go with it. It's probably just going to be a watch and see where I can find an edge during the game, live betting. Brady, you were mentioning the totals and what that's gone over, historically with the unders. And I'm a dog and an under player. I like that. Although, I think one of the challenges with the totals now is this gimmicky kickoff rule where you kick the ball in the end zone or you don't kick it in this little square and you get the ball at the 35 or the 40-yard line. If you kick it out of bounds, it's just really favored the offense. And we'll see how that plays out in some of these games through the playoffs and see if that under trend can still continue. But here with the Bills, I think they're kind of playing like they're the favorite here, this road favorite, but they're embracing this underdog role. And I think it's because they've been so poor in the playoffs. Under McDermott, they've been 0-5 in the playoffs on the road versus what they've done at home. And now you're going into Jacksonville, 8-game winning streak during the regular season to close out the season, winning by an average of 19 points per game. Their defense hasn't allowed a 100-yard rusher all season long. I think my apprehension here is with Liam Cohen. And is Liam Cohen going to say and want to feature Trevor Lawrence? Because Pritch, I know you like Lawrence at home under Liam Cohen. Right now, I need to see it. I need to see it from Trevor Lawrence to be able to do this in the playoffs now at high level. If it was going to be committing to rushing the football with Travis Etienne, we know the Bills' run defense is really porous. I just don't know if that's what we're going to see, Brady, from this matchup with the Jaguars. And that's why it's going to be kind of a watch and feel approach for me to see if I want to bet it, because I just want to see how does Liam Cohen approach this game from an offensive standpoint.
How does he handle his first ever NFL playoff game? He's had a fantastic year. He's certainly a candidate for Coach of the Year, but this is kind of a different tournament here for Liam Cohen that he's never really been involved in, certainly as a head coach. I think you make a great point there. You would expect him to lean on Travis Etienne and rush the football. But, a lot of people don't realize, as bad as that run defense is for Buffalo, their pass defense is pretty darn good. So I think we have a dandy here on our hands. I'll take Jacksonville in a teaser and under 52. When we come back, we get to game number 2 of the afternoon on Sunday, a rematch in itself as well. 49ers visiting the Link and the big bad Philadelphia Eagles.
Want to enter the biggest and best football contests in Las Vegas? Look no further than footballcontest.com to get the info you need to succeed. Covering Circa Million, Circa Survivor, Grandissimo, and every super contest at the Westgate Superbook. Reserve the most trusted proxy service in the business now at footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have been leaders in the industry for 20 years. They submit your picks while you focus on picking winners. Experience matters. Go with the pros at footballcontest.com and start winning now.
All right, we have reached the second half of the Sunday slate as Wild Card Weekend is upon us in the NFL, and a couple of good ones here. We begin with the San Francisco 49ers, of course, falling out of that
possible number 1 seed in their loss to the Seattle Seahawks. That sends them out on the road to meet up with an old nemesis, the Philadelphia Eagles. It was an NFC Championship game not too long ago when Brock Purdy had his arm busted up. They ended up losing that game. They came back and got their revenge in the following regular season over Philadelphia. And now the third time around here with these two teams matching up, who have been representatives in the Super Bowl quite often in the last handful of years. The Eagles, an interesting amount of line movement here, James. This opened 3.5 in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. And you will find that, over 60% of the bets are on the 49ers. But yet this line has moved dramatically in favor of Philadelphia, up to 5.5 in some spots. We'll call it 5 as far as a consensus number. The total about 44.5. It looks like that number to me is starting to get a little bit high. I might lean towards San Francisco. I do feel like Philadelphia is going to win the game. But my play here was on the under, James. The San Francisco defense, we know they have issues, but they held Seattle to 13 points last week. Saleh has these guys playing above their head. We know how good the Philadelphia defense is. I think this is going to be a rushing attack from both sides. And, I think the initial reaction, again, was Niners-Eagles. Oh, boy, this is going over the total. I'll go the other way. I took under 45 in this one.
Well, I think we saw the issues with the defense, and the issues have been there defensively for the 49ers since all the injuries, not only with Bosa early in the season, but really the heart and soul of that defense with Warner. Now, they do have Warner. He did come back to practice. I don't think he's going to play this weekend, but even just his presence to come back out, he had been targeting to the divisional game, the divisional round, if they make it to that round next week. But I think for the 49ers, yeah, it's really a cast off of characters. It's just such a depleted team on that side of the football. But I think my concern is this Philadelphia Eagles offense. They just haven't been in sync all season long, right? It's Kevin Patullo now has taken over as far as the offensive play calling is concerned for the season. And it really just hasn't been, they haven't committed to the run. They want to get the passing, get everybody their touches. It's just really been, they just haven't been consistent in any capacity all season long. I think what has been consistent is Vic Fangio. And what he's done with this defense, his history from, back in the 80s with the Dome Patrol out there in New Orleans. And he has just been year in and year out, mixing different looks up front, but really, what you're going to get. He's going to keep everything in front. You've got to be patient to be able to make plays against his defense. And maybe, Brady, some of this has been all the talk about, Shanahan's lack of success of times going up against the Vic Fangio defense, and looking at that, sure, it has not been successful. He's faced him 4 times in his career as an offensive coordinator for the most part, and he's averaged 10 points a game, not scoring more than 15 points in any of those games. So yeah, his teams have struggled, but then you look at the teams here, Pritch, that he's had, and in particular the quarterbacks that Shanahan has had when he's had to match up for Fangio. It's been Nick Mullins, Jimmy G, RG3, and John Beck, whoever the hell that was. I don't remember who John Beck was, but looking at those quarterbacks, totally different games in this mindset here for the 49ers. I'm thinking about here with the 5.5, does that go to 6? Where does that number climb to? I don't know if there's going to be a lot of buyback until it gets to 6. Pritch, for me, if it does get to 6, I will be taking the 49ers as that dog.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, there's so much to unpack here. I mean, go back to last week's game. I mean, that was a family affair. There's so much familiarity, not only between Seattle and San Fran, but you had Clay versus Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinators, and then you had Kyle, who knows Clay. I mean, they all grew up together. They all understand the same offense. So I wasn't shocked at that outcome or even the score. What was intriguing to me, though, is you look at the makeup of the playoffs this year. Everybody's got a first-round quarterback except these two teams. Jalen's a second rounder, and Brock Purdy, we know where he's Mr. Irrelevant. But it doesn't matter at this point because it's the believability of the team. I think when you're Kyle and you're San Francisco with all those players, you really believe in Brock Purdy. Whereas on the other side, what you alluded to, James, with Jalen, there's not a lot of belief there. I mean, there's some friction there as well. And I'm curious to see if they can fire it up. I know Robert Saleh talked about Saquon Barkley, and the ability to run the football is always going to be there with Philly, and you got to stop that. But I wonder how Jalen responds if the 49ers are hitting on all cylinders, clicking on all cylinders. Now, the wild card for me is Trent Williams. I mentioned that last week, with the hamstring. I thought Seattle took advantage of that because San Francisco couldn't get into scat protection where they really wanted to release 5 players out and on a route. But they couldn't do that, right? And so they had to protect it, and they certainly hamstrung themselves that way. Whereas I think this week they'll find a way to get 5 out on routes and certainly get to that scat protection. They have to be better in the red zone. That's a trademark, which you alluded to, James, Fangio, being tough in the red zone. If they can score in the red zone, not field goals, that's going to be a long day, I think, for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think I like San Francisco in the matchup, but they do have to score in the red zone.
Yeah, Mike, you bring up really the elephant in the room, and that's Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall. They haven't practiced all week. We'll see if they're ready to go. If they aren't, I don't know if the Niners can do it. They desperately need Williams, and Pearsall wouldn't hurt either to supplement that offense, that attack for Kyle Shanahan. Another good one in Foxborough, the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers getting 3.5 points here. And we've kind of seen a steady trickle towards the Chargers in the market, guys. The Chargers are now, or I should say the New England Patriots are now a very weak 3.5 point favorite. Minus 105 at circa. We're kind of seeing that type of general number. Hasn't gone to 3 yet. I wouldn't be surprised if this game closed 3. And James, the big knock on the Patriots this year, I know Patriots fans don't like to hear it, but this schedule. And it's real. The Chargers were 3-2 against playoff teams. They played the Jaguars. They played the Eagles. They played, the Houston Texans. They played the Denver Broncos. The New England Patriots split with the Bills and split with the Steelers and the Panthers. The Steelers and the Panthers are the worst 2 teams in this tournament. You look at some of the quarterbacks they faced: Tua, Geno Smith, Spencer Rattler, Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel, Brady Cook, Quinn Ewers. And is Drake May an MVP candidate? Absolutely. Is this team good? Absolutely. But I think Jim Harbaugh and company, I bet the Chargers plus the 3.5. I actually bet them plus 4, I should say. And I don't mind taking 3.5. I think that, anything above a field goal here with the Chargers is a good play, in my opinion, James.
Looking at this matchup, and for the Chargers defensively, they run really heavy zone coverage, especially a lot of too high. And I don't know if that favors going against Drake, or for Drake May. I don't think that's the defense he wants to see. We've seen it all season long. He likes to hold the ball. He likes to make big plays down the field. Nobody has more air yards per attempt than Drake May does. Big flip from when you're the underdog and nobody expects anything out of you to now you're playing at home and now everybody's saying, and it's really on your shoulders for Drake May to have to make these plays. I think that's going to be the key for me to watch this game as it progresses, especially if the Chargers take the lead. And if they take the lead and Drake May starts to feel more and more pressure, can he still be patient to take what they give him underneath? So Brady, maybe we'll cut to the chase here and we'll get Pritchard's take on the other side. But I'm with you. I kind of lean Chargers here plus the 3.5.
Yeah, an interesting stat here, courtesy of John Ewing at BetMGM. Quarterbacks making their first NFL playoff start versus quarterbacks who have playoff experience. 20-40 straight up, 20-39-1 against the spread since 2002. So not a great situation there for the young Drake May. We'll come back and get Pritch's thoughts on the other side on the Las Vegas Football Contest Show.
Looking for your next ultimate golf experience? Discover Valley High Golf Club, a tropical paradise on the Las Vegas Strip, featuring lush greenery, water features, Balinese tropical plants, white sand, and black volcanic rock, creating an enchanting atmosphere. Valley High creates a memorable golf experience for a typical foursome, a group celebrating a bachelor or bachelorette party, or your next corporate outing. It's award-winning golf on the Strip, Vegas style. Book your ultimate golf experience now at valleyhighgolfclub.com.
Steiner's, a Nevada-style pub, invites you to play the best Keno and video poker in Las Vegas. Promos are how we roll, so make the most of your gaming dollars with ongoing promotions, daily free play, bonuses, and more. With a chance to win Knights, Raiders, Aviators tickets, and big money with all those jackpots. It's not only great gaming at Steiner's, it's the 24 awesome rotating draft beers and the best appetizers to match. Steiner's, the Nevada-style pub, with 3 locations across the Vegas Valley. Steiner's, I love this place.
Welcome back to the Las Vegas Football Contest Show presented by Circa Sports and Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. Thank you to both the Superbook and to Circa Sports for their tremendous support all season long. Gentlemen, We were talking about the Chargers and the Patriots. I think this is a great matchup. I'm looking for all these games are so good. You know, we've got new blood in the playoffs this year, and this is certainly one I'm very interested in. Mike, we did not get your comments yet. James and I are both liking the Chargers here, plus the points. Your take, my friend.
Yeah, too high safety is interesting because as an offensive player, certainly you look at that and you look at the ability to run the football. You're dealing with 7 in the box a lot of times. How they're going to get to 8 in the box, and how are they going to really kind of slow you down? I mean, you have so many advantages from what you want to do personnel wise, and also from a formation wise too. So a lot of options, I believe, for Harbaugh and Herbert. There, it's all about the matchups in this matchup game too as well. And Drake May, I mean, he's had an unbelievable season. Brady, you talked about the schedule. The Patriots, they are an outlier team though. I mean, I think everybody probably believed that the Chargers were supposed to be a playoff team, and that came true. So a lot of injuries along the way too for the Chargers, but it's on the road, tough environment. And I think that's factored into this matchup as well. But I can't get there with May and the Patriots. I mean, I love the story. I love Vrabel as a coach, and some distractions up there too, with a couple of players. But I think the Chargers, if they take care of business, they should come out on top in this game.
Well, it ought to be a good one. We talked about those rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs facing a quarterback with experience. It has been in favor of the quarterback with experience in the past. We'll see if Drake May can overcome that. The last game on the docket for the wild card weekend will be a Monday nighter, and we go back to Pittsburgh, where it was an ending of dramatic proportion with the field goal missed by Loop, the Ravens kicker, and that sends the Steelers into the postseason, winning that one 26-24. What a ball game. And it looked like the Steelers were going to lose, and the next thing you know, they win, and John Harbaugh's fired. I mean, what a domino effect that game caused. Mike, what do you do with the Steelers now going back to, the role of a dog in prime time? They were 3.5-point dogs. Some money's come in on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think a lot of it has to do with the situation. They've never lost on Monday night, this at home and this and that type of thing, whatever. But the Texans, man, this is one heck of a defense, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And the Steelers are going to have to be on the same page. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith. And sometimes we've seen them not be on the same page and some friction out there, right? And I wonder whose ego or who's going to take over this game. Is it going to be Aaron calling the plays on the field and adjusting to what Houston is trying to do? Rodgers cannot escape the pocket like he used to. Rodgers is not that mobile like that. And if you can't get rid of the football quickly, all of a sudden he's in a world of hurt. Great cover guys too. I imagine Stingley is going to maybe shadow DK a little bit. We'll see. And if that's the case, then how are you going to have that consistency in the passing game? And it seems like the Steelers want to pass the ball more than running anyway, where you want to run the football and kind of wear down that defense if you can. We've seen teams kind of do that against Houston. But if Houston is getting after Rodgers, and it's going to be a long Monday night, the only question I would have is, can the Texans offense rev it up and be standout offense? They played well down the stretch, I think. And so you kind of like that, some momentum there on that side. But that's the question mark for me. The big question mark in this game is which Texans offense is going to show up against the Steelers.
Rich, I think the Texans offense is going to be that pass rush. I really do. I think this defense creates offense. I think they get after the quarterback. We know Rodgers is going to get rid of the football. Gainwell is going to be his top receiver in this game. I don't care what DK does. He wants to get down the field. That's not going to happen. They're going to be quick hits. And I think the hit is going to be the Texans pass rush between Hunter and Anderson, those bookend pass rushers, 29.5 sacks going up against this offensive front that it's not a good offensive front for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think this side here for this offense for the Steelers, I mean, it's so one-dimensional. They don't run the football. It's really their running game is short passes and getting the ball out to Gainwell out in the open field, out in the flat. And Texans they got speed. They can tackle. They can hustle, and those linebackers can tackle in space. I think Al Shahir has a great game as their linebacker. He's got to play discipline. He does get himself some personal fouls, late hits to the head, those types of things. As long as he stays disciplined, I think really the offense is going to be short fields created by this defense, Brady. I absolutely love the Texans on Monday night.
I certainly understand people taking the 3 and a hook with the Pittsburgh Steelers because of the situation. Again, a home dog Monday night, and it's also really what they just saw on Sunday night. They were getting 3.5, 4.5, from the Ravens, and you wonder if that's a little bit of recency bias there. We haven't seen the Texans in a couple of weeks. I don't think I'm going to be playing this game. I have a tough time with it. If it gets back to 3.5, maybe I would consider Pittsburgh, but you know how they've been to all of us. You talked about it, James, in your DraftKings contest. You couldn't win going against them or on them or whatever. And it's been that way for me for the most part too. Now, last week I guessed right. I was on them plus the 3.5 or 4.5 or whatever it was against the Ravens. But how lucky was that? I mean, it comes down to a field goal at the very end. I don't know if I can go back to the well with Aaron Rodgers and company this weekend, or Monday night rather, in that contest. When we come back on the other side, we'll get to all of our best bets, put our contest card together, so to speak, and maybe even a Super Bowl prediction. Mike, I know you said you're thinking about the Seattle Seahawks, your former team you like as the NFC representative. Any thoughts on who you might run with for the AFC component?
I think the AFC is wide open. I mean, wide open because so much can happen. And people are kind of talking about the rematch between the Seahawks and the Broncos, the disaster in New York that the Broncos had with Peyton Manning years ago. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, like I said, AFC is so wide open. I'll give it a little bit more thought. But I do like Seattle from the NFC, though.
There's no doubt about that the AFC is wide open. I mean, the Patriots, the Chargers, the Jaguars, the Bills, the Broncos. Boy, we got a heck of a tournament on our hands this year, gentlemen. We'll come back with our best bets for Wild Card Weekend right here on the Las Vegas Football Contest Show.
San Diego is home to Wolfpack Hospitality Restaurants, located in beautiful La Jolla. Stop by Cove House, Shore Rider, and Dough Mama Pizzeria on your next trip. Visit Cove House, a top 100 brunch in California, or Shore Rider, serving up margaritas, fish tacos, and a vibe that will make you feel like a regular in no time. For a slice of New York-style pizza with a California twist, it's Dough Mama Pizzeria, where the wings and pizza draw compliments from around the world. Go to wolfpackhospitality.com, and we will look forward to seeing you at Cove House, Shore Rider, and Dough Mama Pizzeria.
All right, it is the final segment of the final episode 21 of Season 2 here on the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, presented by Circus Sports and Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. Gentlemen, let's compile our best bets here. And the Packers and the Bears under 45 is one of your plays, James. And I'm kind of involved in this game as well. I took the Packers when they were a 1.5 point dog, teased them up to plus 7.5. And Mike, you kind of like that, pairing it with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the teaser to plus 7.5. I know you like the Jaguars to possibly win that game outright at home against Buffalo. James, you like the Texans -3. You and I both like the Chargers plus the 3.5. And then I am also on the under in the Buffalo-Jacksonville game, under 52. Now, we talked about it for a moment there in the last segment, our Super Bowl predictions. We can go down that road, talk about some of our best bets, whatever's on your mind here as we wrap up the program as it ties into this tournament. Who's going to go all the way and some of our best bets this weekend? James, I'll start with you.
Well, not so much thinking about who's going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't have any futures live. I don't really bet futures anymore. And it's so, especially you see these injuries just pop up, and it's so hard to bet futures in the NFL. I look at it this way. I took the money and ran. Was that 2012? I think it was 2012 when I had the exacta when it came to the the Ravens and the 49ers, the Harbaugh brothers meeting in the Super Bowl, and the craziness that had to happen with the Ravens to win that game here in Mile High in the divisional round, and the Hail Mary that they have. And I bought a new truck with that ticket. So that's a truck I'm going to run and drive till it dies. But I think here, as we were discussing this off the air, looking at it, and I think there's ways to be able to get involved and monetize. And what I started to look at, I was just looking at the DraftKings lines and definitely would shop around. And I think I'll do that because I kind of talked myself into liking the Chargers to come out of the AFC, not to take them to win the Super Bowl, but to take them in the AFC. And my rationale for that is looking at them. They're on DraftKings, they're 13. They're 13-1 dogs. So looking at their matchup here, it's the biggest weakness for this Chargers is because of the offensive line and all the injuries that they sustained prior with Slater going down during the preseason, losing Joe Alt, who was one of the best linemen in football, really a patchwork offensive line up front. But I don't see the pass rush for the Patriots really getting home. I think there's definitely room and a path for the Chargers to win this football game in New England. That would mean as the 7th seed, they're going to go play Denver. Well, Denver, their pass rush, yes, it was vaunted for the first half of the season. There's some injuries up front that they're not really talking about. They were limping through some of these injuries, but they really built that sack record or that sack totals up with some of the poor teams and the poor quarterbacks that they were playing. I think that's definitely a winnable game for the Chargers. If they make it that through the New England, to go to Denver, to come here and be able to win at Mile High and put all the pressure on Peyton and Bo Nix in particular with that offense, to have to make plays against Minter's defense. That's where you get to 13-1, you get to the AFC Championship game, and it ends up being anybody but the Texans because that's a hell of a pass rush there. There's ways to really try to monetize that 13-1. So as far as the future for the Super Bowl, I don't have one, Pritch, but the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, I like the Chargers plus 13, plus 1,300 to be able to get to the Super Bowl out of the AFC.
I've had two futures in my life as a bettor. Patrick Mahomes to win MVP 7-1. And then the University of Georgia to win a national championship after watching them dismantle Clemson. I went wire to wire. That's the only time I play futures too. But I'm on Seattle. I love Seattle. I love what they do. And I love the story with Sam Darnold. If he gets to the Super Bowl, think about that 2018 draft class with Josh Allen and Lamar not getting to the Super Bowl. But here you go. The highest pick, the quarterback in that draft, Sam Darnold gets to the Super Bowl. But on the other side, the more I think about it, I like your Chargers situation right there, James. I think the winner out of Buffalo and Jacksonville, because those two quarterbacks, if they get hot, now you're talking about something that could be viable to stick with throughout the playoffs. So Jacksonville already went in Denver too, and they beat them down. I think the winner out of Buffalo and the Jacksonville Jaguars could make the Super Bowl from the AFC. That match up against my Seattle Seahawks.
All right. I like it. The best bets, once again, the Packers-Bears under 45, the Jaguars and the Packers in a teaser, both to plus 7.5, the Texans -3, the Chargers plus 3.5, and the Jaguars under 52, and the Eagles-Niners under 45. My Super Bowl prediction, how about the best two quarterbacks in the tournament? The Rams and the Bills. That'd be a fun one. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. It's been a wonderful season. We'll see you next August right here on the Las Vegas Football Contest Show.
Thanks for tuning in to the Las Vegas Football Contest Show.
Don't you just love football? God, what a fun sport.
Subscribe today on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts to receive weekly alerts as soon as the show's available. Good luck with your contest selections.
Pay that man his money.
And we'll talk to you next week.